Earlier today, National Unity Platform officials visited Luzira prisons. According to them, several inmates, many of whom have been incarcerated for years, cited challenges they faced and the political motivations behind their imprisonment.
Visited a number of really political prisoners, the team of the Eddie Mutwes, the Alex Waiswas, the John Mary Sebufus, and several others. Haj Obed Lutale. What we found, and that's what took a much longer time than we had anticipated, there's many more people than we had even thought. Of course, a number of people who eventually get remanded. So when you get here, those whom you know are here, they tell you, there's so and so, there's other people, there's these others, there's also these others, meet these others. And so that's the situation that we have been dealing with.
Central to these grievances is the case of Dr. Kizza Besigye, a prominent opposition leader and former presidential candidate whose prolonged detention has led to questions. His supporters believe his imprisonment is not a matter of law, but rather political retaliation against his opposition to the current regime. Besigye, who has been in prison on politically motivated charges, has been in poor health for some time.
Haj Obed Lutale, we have not been able to see Dr. Kizza Besigye. Haj Obed Lutale tells us he's unwell. In fact, his sister, Dr. Olive Kobusinje, was here earlier on. Even she was not able to see him because he is unwell. Haj Obed Lutale tells us the situation for doctor needs treatment that cannot be accessed here in prisons. That's something he has been talking about severally. He needs specialized treatment. So the longer he takes without accessing it, his situation keeps deteriorating. And that's the reality, even as told to us by Haj Obed Lutale, who is always with him.
The issue of overcrowding and poor conditions within the Uganda prison system has also been brought to light. Prisoners have been living in cramped conditions with multiple people sharing cells meant for one.
The reality is, even as the OCs did inform us, because they're open about this reality, the congestion, where there should be one person, there is 4 people. So the congestion is unbelievable. People go to sleep. The moment you move a little bit, you're going for a short call. When you get back, the space you are occupying is non-existent anymore. So back to back, disease spread and so on. And that's not a problem you can really place on the prisons or the prisons authorities, because for them they receive whoever is brought for them.
Many prisoners, especially from marginalized communities, find themselves in prison without clear legal charges or due process, with some remaining in jail for years without trial.
But the challenge is there's too many people who should just not be in jail. They pick these street vendors, they pick these, young people from, many of them are from Karamoja or always on the streets, round them up and they bring them, and they're also in jail. And you're wondering, surely, there's many people who, some have been on remand for donkey's years, some should have been granted bail a long time ago. Some of the people who are behind bars, the state clearly lost interest. They just haven't written, and the DPP issued what we call a nolle prosequi, saying, okay, this matter we have dropped.
Or bail. Inmates who have been behind bars for extended periods without charges or trial are questioning the legitimacy of their imprisonment.
Likes of Bobby Young and others who were sent to jail by the court-martial, the Supreme Court issued a directive, which became law anyway, saying these people have no place here under the auspices of the court-martial. And so the court-martial became functus official, has no authority over them anymore. And so they are wondering, why are they still in jail? Because the Supreme Court said you're not supposed to be before the court-martial. The least that can happen is for your cases to be transferred to the civilian courts. That has not happened. And so they're saying, but our warrants expired. Why are we still in jail? That's a question that these people do ask. Of course, many others who were picked up, many were polling agents. They were picked up from polling stations, taken, and then eventually remanded here. And they're saying, is it an offense to be a lawful polling agent?
These prisoners are also frustrated by the political figures who claim to advocate for their release. They feel that Individuals who speak on their behalf have never visited them in prison, never represented them in court, or even made an effort to understand their cases. This has led many inmates to conclude that these political figures are using their plight for personal gain rather than genuinely working to address their situation. In addition to human rights concerns, some inmates also claim that their victories in the recent elections were stolen. Lydia Feli Akulu, NTV Tonight.
Correction.